Hi everyone, welcome to It's Me Shri, where I show you how to grow your own food and get the most out of your garden space. Today we're talking all things hydroponic structures. These are types of growing methods that you can use if you're short on space. They rely solely on water and they also tend to grow vertically. So this is mine right here. This is actually the lettuce grow stand. I've had this for about 5 years now. It's definitely where my vegetable journey began, and I'm really excited. I'll put some photos up there. You can see what I've grown. I also grew the largest zucchini ever with this thing. And over the years, I've added additional tower layers just because I love it so much. Most of my annual pesto comes from my lettuce grow. So today we are setting that up. You'll follow me along as we clean this thing up from last year, plant in my new seedlings, and then towards the end, if you wait, I'll put in a week progress and then a 2-week progress so you can see how quickly these things grow. We'll also chat through maintenance, what that looks like. Roots get really heavy, so I'll chat through maintaining your root structures inside your hydroponic and what does fertilizing look like. Fertilizing is a little bit different. You want to manage your pH while also fertilizing your plants, your veggies, and sometimes even fruit from your grow stand. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's chat seedlings. You can actually order these directly from Lettuce Grow, which is what I recommend doing. But I also have tried planting in those cells myself or buying things from the nursery, and that works too. So whatever floats your boat, whatever's easier. But these look really healthy. Oh, and really quickly before we continue, if you like the content, if you like the gardening tips I'm providing, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, let's keep going. So these are what the seedlings look like. I've planted seedlings from Lettuce Grow for about 5 years now. This is really healthy. Like, look, this is a tomato. He looks great. That's a cherry tomato variety. And if you look at the top of the paper, it actually tells you where to plant it. So because it's a cherry tomato, it's going to vine heavily. It's recommending that you put it towards the bottom of your grow stand, which is really cool. Lettuce Grow does a really good job of just breaking everything down super easily for you so you don't have to think too much. This is one of my greens. If you look at the base, this looks great too. This is a lettuce that I've asked and ordered, which I'm going to put towards the top of my grow stand. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, follow along for this quick time lapse I'll share with you all. It's really dirty. I'll do some pauses because there's a lot of stuff from last season. And then we're going to go ahead and plant these. Let's get started. Okay, I'm actually going to stop right there because I want to show you really quickly. This is a really old root system, but you can see how wild is that. So this is coming from each of the individual plants in the lettuce grow, and it essentially just collects and it goes all the way down to the base of your grow stand. This is wild. This is what you're usually maintaining throughout the growing season, which clearly I have not. So this is what I'm going to break apart and get rid of so that we can make space for new roots, new growth from our new plants. Okay, let's get back into it. Okay, a few things. We learned that my gloves are not waterproof. I am now wet, but let's put this thing back together, okay? Come on. Everything is now soap free. Everything is nice and clean. And we're going to put everything back layer by layer. So this is what's going to bring water all the way up through your grow stand, and then it's going to sprinkle out through the top down to all the layers. So this is what ends up getting plugged in. Perfect. We are still filling up. So let's come closer and let's start filling this with some seedlings. Let's begin with the top layer. Lettuce, kale, I think those are what I'm going to put at the very top. They're going to take up a little space. They're not going to grow too big where they end up taking over, and their root systems are not going to be really big, so the risk of them clogging anything down below is a lot less too. So those were our two lettuce. Let's grab our dazzling kale and we'll pop that in here. We have cherry tomatoes. Let's pop those all the way at the bottom because their root systems are going to be really big. So they're going to end up vining down like this and then growing back up to the sun, which is also really cool. And this last one that I have here are dragon tongue beans. also vining, so they're going to come all the way down. So I'm going to pop those down there. Let's go get the next one. I have some Italian parsley. This you can kind of park anywhere. So I'm going to sprinkle the herbs. I'm not growing cilantro, so the risk of confusing my cilantro and parsley is really low. So I can afford to scatter these throughout. So let's chat fertilizer for a hydroponic structure. You can put hydroponic fertilizer that's specific for this type of growing method directly in your water base. And this is something you can repeat every week or per instructions. The other thing you're going to want to measure is what is the pH level of your water. Because we're only fertilizing through water, it's really important that the pH is balanced enough for all the plants that you're growing. Lettuce Grow does a really good job of selling you pH down and pH up. You can purchase this from anywhere as well. I have a giant bottle of simply just pH down because that's something that I constantly have to adjust for the water in my area. The other thing that you can get is a little pH wand tester. So I do this once a week. This is what tells me what I need to put and then also how much. I've gotten really good at just kind of dumping pH down directly into my water base because that's how much I need. But all you have to simply do is pop this out. You dip this into your water. It tells you where you sit, and then you add the appropriate amount of pH down or pH up depending on what your pH of your water is. I feel like I've said pH way too many times. But this is kind of what I recommend to keep your plants going strong. You'll know when something is wrong. So these are my cucumbers. I have a zucchini on the other side. The leaves will start to turn yellow and you'll figure out that, okay, maybe my water is not right. Or maybe the fertilizer that I'm adding is also affecting the pH and I have to adjust for that if I want to keep using that same fertilizer, right? So a lot of things can impact the way that your grow stand is working. If you're fortunate to not have to adjust your water, that's great. Unfortunately, I'm in a position where I constantly have to adjust the pH if I'm expecting my plants to flourish and grow really strong. So this is something that I'm going to mess around with right now. Turn it on, and now you put it in your water basin. Alrighty. So I'm sitting at a 12 on average, so I'll need to adjust that to fix my plants, especially at the age that they're at right now. They're going to need balanced water. The other thing is always rinse this off after you're done using it. You don't want the pH from one session to affect the pH from another. But don't forget to rinse this. That's really important, okay? These are all dead, but look at how like matted and fine they get. This is what builds and collects all the way down into the water base here, which is really cool. So eventually you'll pull out all the roots here and you'll start to cut about 1/3 of the roots because you don't want it to get wrapped up in your water pump. That's what's going to affect how strong the suction is and how much water is going to come down your grow stand. We'll get there. When it comes to maintenance, I'll do another video on how to properly maintain your lettuce grow once these are all at the good growing stage. But yeah, I think that's all that we have for now. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. Let's get it going. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but the water is going all the way down to the bottom. And if you look and take a peek inside, there's water going down, which means that the flow is working wonderfully. So we are all set there. I am going to let these guys do their thing, get a good healthy dose of water. All right, so that's it for today. We have set up the lettuce grow stand. This is the hydroponic structure that I use. You can use anything, but if you're short on space, this is really what I recommend to be able to grow things for yourself and still get that satisfaction of being able to grow vegetables, fruits, flowers, whatever that may be. That's it for me today. I'm going to fill these little holes with some flowers that I got from the nursery, things like zinnias and snapdragons, just to bring color to the lettuce grow, and some pollinators as well. But that's it. Thank you for joining me on It's Me Shri. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you all next time.